Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Horror Movie Rewind, or welcome for the first time. I'm Dustin. I'm going to continue a video I started yesterday. It's going to be, I guess, like a little short series, something I want to do with a couple other franchises over the next few weeks, months, sporadically, which is rank iconic franchises from worst to first, basically. And so we're doing Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously. You can read. And we went through 9 through 7 last night. If you care about this, go back and watch that. Not because I'm begging you to, but you're just not going to know what the fuck's going on otherwise. Anyway, so in this video, I figure we'll just make it even kill and we'll go 6 through 4. And like I've said many times before on other videos, the whole vast 10 weeks that I've been actually posting material, I do my damnedest not to look at, I don't research absolutely at all, but I'm also 40 years old and I've had access to the internet more of my life than I haven't. So I'm aware of like what people think as far as like, you know, for example, this franchise. I know the guys that are the stinkers in the group, so to speak, and I'm not letting that influence me. I'm kind of proud of myself for the fact that, yeah, my list probably don't look like a lot of other people's. But with that being said, we're going to go 6 to 4 in this one. And fuck it, let's get started. All right, so here we go. I guess the 6th best or the 4th not shittiest in the franchise to me is going to be Freddy versus Jason. I think this movie is one of those things that, like, yeah, son of a bitch. Everybody wanted to see this. I think they did a decent job with trying to write a script that would acclimate to that idea. But it's still basically just celebrity deathmatch. And I don't really have a lot to say about this movie. I think I was freshman year of college, and then went and see it in theaters. I mean, it's what you expect it to be, in a sense. You're not going to get some, like, in-depth, like, fucking Martin Scorsese kind of script, or it's Freddy versus Jason. And I think they did a decent job with, like, finding a way to make this plausible even in a horror film sense. But that's about it. Like there wasn't a lot to it. As a fan of Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm kind of polar about one thing, and that's like Freddy seemingly lost, but then you get the end scene with the wink. But then I thought about it while I was writing this, and I was like, well, you know what? I like the fact that they kind of vilified him more than Jason Voorhees. Like, Jason was essentially more of an anti-hero, where Freddy was a true villain. So I think, like, in a sense, it's kind of a tip of the cap that, like, yeah, he's more sinister. I don't know. But not a lot to say about that movie. I mean, it was just nothing to it. You see Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees kill a lot of people, a lot of cornfield. Anyways, yeah. Like, I mean, there's nothing fantastical about this plot. The Springwood, like the drug and all that shit, was kind of like a fruitless plot. We did see the guy from A Christmas Story playing the big brother of the main male, like, protagonist. It was his best friend's older brother, the bathtub scene. It took me years and years to realize, like, what the fuck do I know that guy from? Yeah, he was the asshole that gets, like, popped in the mouth or the nose by Ralphie wearing the raccoon Davy Crockett hat. And, I mean, I really don't have much else to say. Yeah, everybody wanted it.
Hey guys, yeah. Just a quick little note. It's the same video. I had some equipment difficulties
think a week ago today when I was attempting to film this. So we're going to pick back up now with 5 on my list. And 5 is going to be higher than I'm certain most people put it. Again, like I'm new to this 3 months yesterday, actually, posting videos. And I'm also 40 years old. And I've had the internet and I've been a horror movie fan since I was a kid. So I know people's opinions about stuff. I don't have to like dig and see like, oh, what the shit did John do when he was doing his? I don't do that. Like I've said that many times, but you can't erase like what I've read and like heard, seen in the past. But I do know this is one of the more, for lack of a better words, despised films in the franchise. And again, mine's going to be different. A lot of it has to do, and I don't give a damn what anybody says, and I don't care about this, and it's so frustrating that people do. I'm married to a woman, and I have gay friends, men. This movie gets a lot of heat. Obviously, I'm talking about part 2, Freddy's Revenge. And I'm not getting into that political, like, gender fluidity. None of that shit, man. Like, but, I mean, it's got its own documentary, and good for the guy that played Jesse. I can't remember his name, but, you know, all that shit's aside to me in my premise, my reason for having it higher. And the main reason why I have it so high, there's 2 things that put it here at 5. It's hilarious. And I don't know if it's intentional or not. That we're not talking about like films 2 or 3 later where it just got to be, like I've already discussed in the first video in this series. It just got like, honestly, like, again, like Looney Tunes, like just absurdity, but Animaniac. I don't know. But there's a couple of scenes, like I posted them in shorts. The guy that plays Jesse, or Jesse, actually, because it's in the movie, getting hit in the head with the baseball. It's always funny to me when someone gets hit in the head, as long as they're okay. And he gets knocked right in the noggin by a ball. Ironically staring at a chick, because, yeah, again, the character in real life, like, is a homosexual. Then you have the just absolutely ridiculous, like, 5-10 minutes where he essentially sneaks out of the house, goes to a bar, it's an S&M bar, whether it's strictly gay or not, doesn't matter. But he finds the gym teacher that's been, like, basically, you know, making his life a living hell, standing there looking like he's a member of Demi Borgir or Cradle of Filth. And said gym teacher makes him go back to the literal gym in the high school and run laps, which is just absurd, but all you can do is laugh about it. I mean, there's several more scenes. Spontaneously combusting bird. Let's watch that one real quick. Yeah. Again, another short I posted. The squeal at the like breakfast table, and the sister like really pushes it home. Says, "Mom, why can't Jesse wake up like everybody else?" It's just a funny movie, and I think those had to be pseudo intentional. I don't know. Nevertheless, it's fucking hilarious to me. But also, the last thing I'll say about this is that, in my opinion, with the exception of something I kind of won't hold against too, is this creepiest, scariest, like, version of Freddy Krueger, like, makeup wise, like what Robert Englund was wearing. I don't really know how to say it. That's the scariest version of him to me, with the exception of maybe, like, I mean, just appearance wise, the exception of maybe New Nightmare. But, you know, kind of focusing on what's not meta here. But yeah, pretty dark movie as well. Absolute nonsense, which it's a horror movie to begin with. I've said this so many times, I know I'm like repeating myself, but it's also a horror movie where there's kind of no rules. And apparently they also apply to the protagonist, because at one point in this film, Freddy Krueger literally rips out of Jesse's abdomen, and pretty sure that was like waking life. Like he was, but it wasn't a dream. But then he's okay.
Yeah, all right, so like the last video, I'm going to do 3 and then we'll finish up with another video with 3, 2, 1.
This one's going to be another time where I'm probably in the minority. Not probably, I'm sure that I am. Because if you've kept count, if you've actually watched these videos, you'll see that there are 3 left. And there's at least one that most people would probably put above me. But I'm going to explain why briefly. And I'm going to try not to talk myself out of the placement of this. Because it was definitely the hardest slot for me to make a decision on. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and spit it out. It's part 3, Dream Warriors. And negativity aside, because again, I love this franchise. You can see behind me. I adore this movie. But I've always had a problem with the explanation or lack thereof for Nancy. And what I mean by that is, we don't get a lot. Now, you can look at stuff that I've known for years. Well, not known, but speculation on the internet and documentaries that this is what happened in the original film and everything after that was a dream, or whether or not Nancy ever even really existed in this movie, if she was just conjured up, if she was a counterpart to the Freddy Krueger character, kind of like Glinda the Good Witch or some shit like that. But that always bothered me. There was really no explanation of how she got there. Now, with that being said, there's 4 out of 9. And I love this franchise. So, yes, pretty good slot for it. But it has some of the best death scenes to me in the franchise. Well, especially the puppeteer. And, it was gross, like tendons. But, overall, great movie, and almost certainly the most important thing about this film was it set the template, and probably the movie that saved the franchise. It set the template for the next few films, and for better and then worse. But we meet characters that will be prevalent at least in the next 2 films. But it was cool. Just the Nancy aspect bothered me. You also have skeleton fight, which cracks me the hell up every time I see it. And it was a relatively believable. I mean, we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street, ending to the film. They bring in the Amanda Krueger character, I think, for the first time, and she's explained at least for the first time. Again, I said this about 5. I've always also had a problem with the origin story of Freddy Krueger, that she was locked and raped by maniacs in a criminally insane institution. But nevertheless, they give you a little bit of, backstory or start to here. Although they didn't, again, mention how the hell Nancy ends up there. But entertaining movie. Probably took a big risk by killing off Nancy. And, I obviously didn't hurt him in the long run. But, yeah. Hell, we see Heather Langenkamp again. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm putting it here. I'm not putting it as high as most people do. But great film. Anyhow, guys, appreciate it if you made it this far. I'm Dustin, Horror Movie Rewind. Please subscribe if you haven't done so, and we'll see you soon.